India, a country whose economic story has been defined for decades by its thirst for imported energy, is making one of the biggest and riskiest economic pivots in modern history. It's a multi-trillion-dollar bet that it can go from being one of the world's biggest energy importers to a green tech powerhouse that powers other nations. This is the story of a massive economic gamble, an ambition to not just achieve energy independence, but to weaponize its sunshine and wind to reshape its future. But this high-stakes strategy to export green energy could either be a geopolitical masterstroke that secures India's place as a 21st-century leader, or a catastrophic failure, crushed by the brutal realities of global trade. For decades, India's growth has been shackled by a massive fossil fuel import bill. The nation relies on imports for about 89% of its crude oil needs and about half of its natural gas. This dependency is a colossal drain on its economy, with the oil import bill often soaring well past $100 billion a year. This isn't just an economic vulnerability, it's a strategic one, tying the fate of 1.4 billion people to volatile global markets. But what if India could flip this script entirely? What if, instead of spending billions on foreign energy, it started earning billions by exporting its own? That's the heart of the grand plan now unfolding across the subcontinent. India has laid out one of the most ambitious energy transitions on the planet. The headline goal is to install 500 gigawatts of electric power from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. As of early 2026, the country has already installed over 283 GW of non-fossil fuel capacity, showing just how fast it's moving. But this is no longer just about keeping the lights on at home. This is about building an industrial engine for the world. The strategy rests on two colossal pillars: solar energy and green hydrogen. First, solar. Through its production-linked incentive, PLI scheme, India is sparking a massive expansion of its solar manufacturing capabilities. The goal is to build an entire ecosystem, turning India from a major importer of solar parts into a dominant producer. Some projections suggest that India's solar module manufacturing capacity could surge to over 165 GWs by 2027. This boom is designed not just for solar farms in India, but to turn the nation into a key supplier for a world hungry for clean energy. But let's be clear, while module assembly is scaling up impressively, India still depends heavily on imports for the guts of a solar panel, especially polysilicon, the hyper-pure material that is the bedrock of the industry. Recognizing this weak spot, the government is using its incentive schemes to encourage a push into domestic polysilicon production, a move that's essential for true self-reliance. The second pillar is even more futuristic: green hydrogen. India's National Green Hydrogen Mission is a bold statement that it plans to lead in the fuel of the future. The mission aims to build at least 5 million metric tons of annual green hydrogen production capacity by 2030. While the first priority is to clean up India's own heavy industries like steel and fertilizer, exports are a huge part of the plan. The official mission document speaks of capturing about 10% of the global green hydrogen market, with the potential to export significant volumes as the market grows. This isn't just about selling a new fuel, it's about establishing leadership in a sector that could define the next energy era. Together, these plans signal a radical shift in India's economic thinking, from being a passive buyer of global energy to an active seller of green technology. But this grand vision is a high-wire act, filled with risks that could send the whole thing crashing down. The path to becoming a green energy superpower is lined with geopolitical traps and brutal economic competition. The first and most immediate threat is a global trade war. India's export dreams put it on a collision course with the current, undisputed champion of green tech, China. China dominates the entire solar supply chain, controlling over 80% of the global manufacturing for everything from polysilicon to finished modules. For some parts, like wafers, its share is a jaw-dropping 95 to 98%. Chinese solar panels are significantly cheaper than those made elsewhere, a cost advantage built on staggering scale and state support. For India to compete, it must not only build bigger, but also smarter, in a world that's getting more protectionist by the day. This leads straight to the second risk: subsidy skirmishes and tariff shocks. The United States and the European Union are desperate to diversify their clean energy supplies away from China. While this opens a door for trusted partners like India, they are also spending billions to boost their own green industries. This creates the constant threat of sudden and severe tariffs. This is not a theoretical risk. In February 2026, the U.S. Commerce Department hit some solar cell imports from India with massive preliminary duties of up to 126%, claiming that unfair subsidies were hurting American manufacturers. While the final outcome is pending, it was a brutal shot across the bow. It highlights a critical vulnerability. Getting hooked on a single export market can be fatal. The very policies meant to protect Western industries could slam the door shut on India's dreams. The third huge risk is trying to serve two masters: booming domestic demand and a hungry export market. India isn't a developed country with flat energy use. It's a rapidly growing economy where electricity demand is exploding. Peak electricity demand keeps setting new records. This creates a fundamental tension. Every solar panel exported is one that isn't powering a home, farm, or factory in India. Every megawatt of green power used to make hydrogen for Europe is a megawatt that isn't feeding India's own grid. Balancing the lure of export dollars against the urgent needs of its own people will be a constant political and economic tightrope walk. For India's gamble to pay off, a whole lot of things need to go right. Success isn't guaranteed, but you can see the outlines of a path to victory, built on smart diplomacy, innovation, and strategic industrial policy. First, geopolitical maneuvering is everything. India is trying to sell itself as the China plus one solution for Western nations looking to secure their clean energy supply chains. This takes skillful diplomacy. Initiatives like the International Solar Alliance, ISA, which India co-founded with France, are key platforms for this. The ISA helps India build trust and position itself as a leader in the global energy conversation, not just another supplier. By championing solar power for everyone, India builds geopolitical credit and creates a friendlier climate for its exports. Second, India has to master the complex game of vertical integration. Simply bolting together modules from imported parts means thin profits and continued vulnerability. The real prize is in capturing more of the value chain, especially in making upstream components like polysilicon and wafers. But this is incredibly expensive and requires massive scale to compete on cost. The smart play won't be to do everything, but to pick the right battles, perhaps focusing on next-generation batteries or advanced cell technologies where India can still build a real competitive advantage. Third is the critical role of money and innovation. Building this green industrial machine will require staggering amounts of capital. Attracting international finance with stable policies and bankable projects is a must. At the same time, Indian companies have to innovate to compete. This isn't about just making cheaper copies. It's about developing products for different markets, from super-efficient panels for land-scarce Europe to tough, low-cost solutions for developing nations in Africa and Southeast Asia. This is how exporting becomes a secret weapon. Global competition forces companies to get better, faster. Ultimately, victory will depend on diversification. Just as a country can be too dependent on energy imports, it can become dangerously dependent on one export market. The U.S. tariff threat is a perfect example. The The long-term success of India's strategy rests on its ability to build a wide network of trading partners across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Southeast Asia. That's the only way to ensure that one political or economic shock can't bring the whole green export dream tumbling down. This is one of the biggest economic transformations happening in the world right now, and the outcome is anything but certain. The interplay between technology, money, and geopolitics is incredibly complex, and we're just scratching the surface. India is at a historic crossroads. It has laid out a bold, audacious plan to turn a huge economic weakness, its reliance on imported energy, into a source of national strength and global influence. The strategy to become a green tech exporter could supercharge its economy, create millions of jobs, fix its trade balance, and give it a powerful new voice in the world. But the path is treacherous. The shadow of China's industrial power is long, the threat of trade wars is real and immediate, and the country's own massive energy needs are a constant headwind. The decisions made in the next few years will decide the fate of this multi-trillion-dollar gamble. It's a test of India's industrial might, its diplomatic skill, and its strategic vision. The question remains, will India navigate these massive challenges to become the world's next green energy superpower, or will its grand ambition be crushed by the harsh realities of global competition? The world is watching.